Welcome to Classroom Session, a football experience built with purpose. FC Game Changer and Footballer Life created this space to shape smarter players, stronger communities, and a better future for the game. Here, your growth fuels impact. Every session supports the Foundation Ball Donation Initiative, giving kids everywhere a chance to play. Let's dive in and build the future of football, one lesson at a time.
Every rep, every drill got a purpose now. Focus like a laser when it's going down.
Today's classroom session is brought to you by Footballer Life, who will be donating 5 balls to an academy in Africa. We can't share with you right now what academy that is and which location the academy is. So if you're watching, please watch until the end to find out who the academy is. And if you're listening to the episode, please listen until the end so you can find out what academy that is and which location the academy is. Dave, do you have the ball right there to show people what ball we're talking about?
I do, right here.
There you go.
This is the ball we donate. I know a lot of you guys know that. It has the QR code, Cameron, right there on the, you see that right there? It says Football Changes Lives. That downloads the app. So that people can join the community too. It's a global football community. So now that's the ball.
Now with the sponsor of today's episode, there's no one better to talk about the sponsor since Dave is the CEO of Footballer Life. Dave, share with us everything about Footballer Life.
Yeah, so we've been building this global football community for a few years now. We're excited to, continue to expand. A lot of our users right now are in East Africa, and so we have part of our mission is to support grassroots football, and so we donate a ball globally right now, mostly in East Africa, so that ball is very important to these kids. Sometimes a team will only have one ball per 60 kids, if you can imagine that. So it's really important, and so that's part of our mission. We want to connect global football and become the home of global football, and we think part of that mission, an important piece of it, is to support the game, and tell the stories that are important in terms of raising the visibility of these kids. So anyway, that's what we do, and we're excited to donate 5 balls to the academy that we will mention later.
And we can't say anything yet. We have to wait until the end. You guys have to wait until the end to find out the academy and what location the academy is. So stay tuned, watch until the end. Welcome back to Classroom Sessions, the collaboration between FC Game Changer and Footballer Life, where the game becomes the classroom. This platform is built to go deeper than headlines. We explore development, mindset, leadership, and the evolving landscape of the professional game while giving younger players direct access to those living it. My name is Armando from FC Game Changer, joined by Dave Clark from Footballer Life, and today we are extremely excited to welcome a player whose journey reflects both academic excellence and elite ambition. Our guest is Cameron Brooks. She's newly signed with the North Carolina Courage after competing professionally with Napoli in Italy. No big deal, just Napoli. It's no big deal at all.
I'm so excited to hear about Italy in the league there. So let's not forget about that.
So before turning pro, Cameron went to the University of Texas at Austin, earning academic all Big 12 honors 4 consecutive years while completing her degree in political communication. She also gained...
That's a big time program.
It's huge. Yes. Again, no big deal at all. So for all of you watching and listening, this is gonna be awesome. She also gained early national exposure through U.S. Youth National Team camps and high-level ECNL development. Cam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Super excited to have you here, and let's go all the way back. When did football start for you?
Oh, this is a good story. Okay, so football started for me when I was 7, and I think how it all started, I think my dad is always going to say this wasn't right, and what you say and how you saw it didn't really happen, but this was my story. I was 5 years old, and my cousin from New York, half of my family lives in New York. They had came down for vacation in Austin, Texas, and he was preparing for his collegiate season. And so he had to train in my backyard during the summer. He had balls and cones out there, and my uncle, his dad, was helping him train. And so I couldn't go out there because they were like, no, you can't bother us right now. So I said, okay, fine. I sat down and I looked through my kitchen window, and I was watching them in the backyard training. And so I finally go out there because it was at the end of their training, and I go and I kick a ball, and they're like, oh, wow, like you had some power on that. You're pretty good. You could be good. This kid, you could actually play soccer. And I'm like, yeah, let me see. Let me go ask my dad. So I go to ask my dad, and he said no. And he says no because he didn't want to put me in a sport that was hot, and he didn't want me to, he didn't want to waste his $75 to put me in a little summer league for me to complain that it was too hot and for me to quit. He thought that I was just a quitter and someone that just couldn't handle the elements of the game. So instead, he put me in ballet and tap and basketball, and that lasted for 2 years. And he finally had put my brother in the sport because I think the whole reason was that he didn't know that women can play soccer. It's not a bad thing, but this was in the early 2000s, and he just never knew of females who played soccer. He didn't think that was a thing. So that's why he was, putting my brother in the sport. And at this point, I'm like, no, he needs to do this. He's not kicking the ball right. He needs to go score a goal. He's using his hands. He doesn't know what he's doing. So after this, my dad was like, okay, fine, we'll sign you up for soccer. And that was the beginning of how I started playing soccer.
Wow.
That was a good choice. That was a good choice. I'm glad you made that choice.
Yes. I mean, I wonder, your dad, if, watching and listening to this, what is he saying right now? He will listen and let me say whatever I want, because at the end of the day, I took it so far. Even I don't even understand the passion that I had for the game, because again, my dad wasn't there to teach me. And it just came from an instance in the backyard. And since then, he would do whatever he needed to do to get me to the fields. He was always there. He was a consistent presence, and he made sure that I was doing the right things, because he did go to college to play basketball at Brooklyn College. So he understood, and he was an athlete. So, I mean, at this point, he just knows that I lived such a full life, and he was just there to support me. And he always has been. I'm sure he always will be. So I think he just likes to listen to me talk, regardless of whatever I'm saying.
Probably your biggest fan now, right? Like,
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's so amazing. I mean, it's funny, right? Because before that kick, right, you're just watching. Did you have any contact with the ball prior to that?
No, like I said, my parents didn't play soccer. My dad didn't even know what the sport was. So
wow. I mean,
it just was. Yeah.
That's pretty.
So what if she had shanked that kick, right? What happens? Like, she's not on this podcast. She didn't play pro soccer.
Nothing.
I mean, that's so interesting. So then, so you get into basically academy, and then you started playing?
Well, I actually started with, very small local teams. So no, I don't know. I don't think I went into academy until maybe I was 10, 11.
Okay.
And what had happened was I was a part of the grassroots system. I went to the local teams, and I was just playing my first team. We were called the Ladybugs. And then after that, my dad was like, okay, well, he saw that I was playing against competition, and my dad's a really friendly person. So I think he was making friends with the parents on the other teams. And one thing led to another. He became friends with some of the other girls' parents, and he's like, okay, come to this team. And my next team that I played for was the Rockettes, and we would do 3v3s. And I was so blessed to be able to get the opportunity to go and play these 3v3 tournaments in Disney, which was such an amazing experience. We were playing these 3v3 Disney tournaments at Epcot. So it was a summer event that we would always go to. And I think that was definitely the highlight of my childhood, because it turned into a family vacation. So anytime we had family vacations, it really was around my soccer schedule, and the whole family had to come to this 3v3 tournament. But hey, we're at Disney World, and we're in Epcot. So that started. And then after that, my best friend, her name is Sade. She also plays professionally overseas now, but I ended up getting roped in with her, and she has an older brother, and I'm sure we're going to touch base on it, but that's actually how I got good at soccer and how I was able to stay above, or I guess how I was able to grow as a player, because I was training with boys that were 2 or 3 years older than me all the time.
That's important.
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. That is a key thing right there, because a lot of parents and even players, they get intimidated by the fact that they could be playing with older players. And in reality, that's actually a huge advantage for you, because, you know, it's a different pace, different strength. You know, the speed of the game will be much, you know, faster, and you're just soaking everything up and learning so much faster than if you're just playing with, you know, players at your age or even younger, right? So
it's hard to get involved sometimes too when you're the youngest. Like, they won't give you the ball. You have to really get in there and get you know, right, and get involved.
Yeah, half the time we weren't really playing against the boys, but again, we had a very big grassroots community in Austin, Texas when I was growing up. I don't think it's as big now, but we had a couple of individual trainers that would train us. They would take group sessions. So of course, because I'm best friends with my friend Sade and her brother, we're going into group sessions. Maybe it'll be 6, 7 of us. And there was this one trainer, and we would go there for the whole summer. The boys would have training at like lunchtime, but me and the younger group would go like 6 a.m. in the morning. But my dad during the summer couldn't drive home and drive me back for the 2 training sessions because I wanted to be there. So instead, he would drop me off at 7 a.m. in the morning. He goes to work and he doesn't come pick me up until 9 p.m. because there has been set trainings throughout the day in this facility. So we would train at 7 a.m. till probably 9, and then we would have lunch. We would go and mess around because now we know the owners of the facility. So we get the facility to just play indoor soccer all the time whenever we wanted to. And we ended up making us our own summer camp because they trusted us. So we would stay there the whole day.
That sounds like a dream experience for kids.
It really was. And then we'd have the final training session where, you know, a bunch of kids would come, probably like 30, 40 of us would be training at this facility. But during that time when we were training with the older guys, again, they were like 16. Me and Shadi were like 13, 14. And they're really, what it was they would make us stand in the mini goals and they would shoot the ball as hard as we can. There was like 6 mini goals in the small facility, and we would just be shooting as hard as we can. Well, obviously the boys are like trying to hit us in the face. Yeah. We probably caught a couple, but I mean, that was the game. If we wanted to play, we had to play it like that. And they would just put us in the goal and shoot the balls at us as hard as we can. And we'd have to get out of this situation.
So any of you kids, any of you girls that want to become a pro or go to Texas, this is the pathway, right?
Yeah.
7 a.m. till 9 p.m. You got.
Yeah. My dad never made me do it. Nobody really ever made me go and train the way that I did. I just liked the people that I was training with. That was the community that I felt so comfortable in, and I just loved being there. And we were just having fun. Like, we were just little kids that didn't really know much more than, okay, get up, go train, do these touches, have fun, and make a game out of it. Out of like the small equipment that we had, we got so creative. So that's really what happened.
It's to me, this is an amazing story. You know, this is just, you know, because usually you have someone in the family that plays a sport, or, you know, you love watching the game and then you want to get into it. And then with you, no, you had no relationship with the game whatsoever, right? You're watching your cousin from the window. They're not allowing you to go play out there. And then you go, you kick the ball and it's, you know, a banger. You know, you're like, oh, I see potential there. And then after that, it's just like your passion for the game that was never exposed to you keeps growing and growing and growing. And you just grassroots football, and then you go into more, you said the tournaments that you just mentioned at Disney, and then friends and playing with older people. It's insane, right? It's just very interesting how your passion for the game comes out of where? Like, we don't know.
You know, many times these days, like I played, my son and daughter played, but a lot of times it's the parents that have the first push, right? Like, oh, go play rec soccer because I played and I love it. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's different when the kid just takes it on themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so let's keep going on this here. From the backyard, basically, to grassroots football, to then more, you know, organized. And then what comes next?
So next, we can just kind of hop into middle school, high school. I had to make a decision because I was trying to play basketball. I only did it because my dad played basketball, and I was okay. Like, I'm not the tallest girl, so I'm 5'9". Okay, I'm 5'9", but
You're taller than I am, by the way.
Like, yes, the basketball players now are like really, really tall. And in middle school, I've always been 5'9", but to be like a 4 or 5, there were some girls that might have just been bigger than me or knew how to play that position. Okay, so I'm shooting. I'm a 2 and a 3, and I'm pretty clutch. Like with the 3-point shot or mid-range shot, I could do it. So I was like, let me just do this. But it got to middle school, and I was trying to do all these sports, and I'm like, well, first of all, I don't really care. I was just doing this for fun. But really, I was doing all the sports because there was an award at the end of the year for like the most outstanding player, and I couldn't just be only playing soccer, so I had to do the track, volleyball. I tried out for everything because I wanted the award. And also, I'm just so competitive as a person. Like, there was this girl that I played with. Her name was Kylie McCartney. Shout out to her. Her dad was the one that was coaching the Rockettes. But like in my mind, I was like, she always gets like the best athlete in our grade. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm going to be trying out for every single sport because I wanted that award. And so I tried out for the volleyball team, didn't make it, but I'm pretty good. I'm honestly, I'm good at anything. But anyways, all this to say,
the ambition is coming out. I like it.
Yeah.
We have a future CEO or president or something, I think.
Something like this. So I couldn't continue to do all these sports because then in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, there was also another girl named Nicole Cook, and she would start to go to another private trainer named David Den, who I religiously go back to when I go home over the summers. He was also played a really big part of me going from tearing my ACL to getting to Fort Lauderdale to getting to Napoli. So he was there, and I was always going to train with him. But Nicole Cook in the 7th and 8th grade, she would go to David Den every single morning the training started at 6 a.m. Middle school starts at like 7:38, so she was getting it in at 6 a.m. And I was like, well, she's beating me. Okay. So like, I need to catch up. Like, I can't, she's doing this and I'm doing all these sports. I'm getting pulled every single way. So we dropped all the sports. I tried my hand at the 6 a.m.s, but then I also played for a different club than she did. I think she was trying to go to like IMD, more private schools, but I was playing for Lone Star Academy, which led to DA and ECNL. So that's when I started playing at those higher levels. I started getting national team recognition, and that was my pathway from then.
Lone Star is a big famous club.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I hope everyone watching and listening to this, they're picking up on the ambition side of yourself, right? Because it's you never saw the better player or the more driven player as a threat. You always saw that player as like, I will do much more than you are doing, and I'm going to become much better than you. So that it's a healthy relationship with ambition, with trying to always improve yourself, because you're seeing that you're staying behind, instead of like some players, they see that and they're like, I'll never be able to catch up. And they kind of give up or fade away. That kind of triggers something. It's the complete opposite with you. It triggers that driven side of yourself of like, I'm going to catch up to that person. And not only that, I'm going to become better than that person.
Yeah, I think that's what really drew me to the game in general. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing when I was 7 to 10, but once it started to get where these girls were getting better than me, and I was only good because I was bigger than them, then I was starting to have issues because I would be getting invited to regional camps and national team camps, and I would be not getting invited back or quote unquote kicked out. And it was because these girls were improving in other areas that I didn't know. I don't have a dad or an older brother to teach me how to, do bells and between my feet. Man, my dad was like, go on YouTube and watch the YouTube videos and learn. That's how I learned. I didn't.
And you did that,
from
right?
Someone being right there. Yeah, like I went to YouTube, and like as much as my best friend had a brother, like, your parents are going to do what they need to do for their kids, not somebody else's kids. I was like, okay, watch, learn, and go home and do it yourself.
Yeah.
And do your best. And this is like so Mr. Lonray was my best friend's dad. He's been so supportive because he was also the other person. I love my dad. He's my biggest fan, but like soccer development and anything that his kids, again, the desire for soccer from his kids, he had instilled in them because he played the game and he loved the game. But for me, I was outside looking in. I don't have a dad to go home to that's telling me to do things, thank goodness, because I definitely would have fell out of love with the game. But because I wanted to be as good as her, or I didn't even know I wanted to play pro. We'll get into that. I just wanted to be better than what I was.
You see, but as a consequence, though, I think that's what people don't. They look too much. Like, the focus becomes, I want to become a pro, and that's all they think about. But they end up forgetting about what they need to be doing day to day to get there. If you're only thinking about the end of the road here, you lose track of what needs to be done right now, tomorrow, the next day, and that's basically what you did. And the consequence of you pushing yourself, trying to become better than the other players, as a consequence of that, naturally you became a professional player. How cool is that?
It's cool, and it's easy to talk about and say in this regard because I'm older and I have a mind of my own. But when you're a kid and you are the parent that has a kid that wants that kid to be so successful, it is so much harder for them to come to grips because obviously as an adult, you know exactly what the person needs to be doing. So you're going to tell them what to do. That does not mean it works at all. My dad never had to force me to get up and go to the field. I was actually like knocking on his door to bring me out to the field. Like, it was never that my dad was telling me what to do. He was just like, you need to go get the touches on. Let's go get the touches at the field. But he knew how to push me. That was another thing. Like, he didn't know what drills to do. I had to bring in the drills. I had to bring in the YouTube video, and I'm like sitting there pouting because he's not throwing the ball right. And I'm mad. But then if I mess up my kicks, like, he's like cussing at me and he's telling me like, you're doing so bad. Again, this is my dad, and I love my dad. I love that he trained me like this, and he did anything that he could to make me successful. But it's, again, so hard for a parent when they see how much of an opportunity that soccer is, or sports are in general, and they want to give that to their kid. The kid doesn't know right from wrong, left to right. They don't know anything. So I think it's so much easier to talk about it in this way now because I've had a different experience. But for you to call out and say, like, you need to realize this, like, it's really the parents that need to realize it, not the kid. It's the parents that need to understand how to teach your kid and how to foster a successful environment for your kid. And it'll look different for everybody, but I think I just had the perfect, I think it was lucky. Like, that's really what it was luck when it all came down to it. And I think every successful person has luck, and that was mine.
So my question for you is just funny question here is, your dad, would you say he like appreciates the game now? Like would he watch a game if it had nothing to do with you, or is it only you that he follows?
No, actually, he'll turn that EPL on. He's a big Man City fan. Like, I think he does appreciate the game so much more. And he's interested.
My Man City scarf in the back right there. So we're going to be in Manchester in a couple of weeks.
Oh, that is so cool.
To watch the game. So my wife is amazing. Crazy Manchester City. So we'll have to talk about that in the future, maybe. Yeah.
I think it's a whole big culture that he gets to be a part of. So cool. My mom's from Grenada. So, you know, when the Grenadian national team plays in America, or they played in Austin, so he'll go, you know, and he'll quote unquote invest in what's going on in the soccer world. So for sure.
So that's something you brought for your dad, which is great. Now he's that's a really cool story too.
Yes.
So maybe that's time for homework here, Dave. You know, going on your own and looking for YouTube videos, and even, you know, don't rely only on the sessions that you have with your club, which is basically twice a week. Go out, watch the YouTube videos. Try to learn something there, how to juggle, pass, shoot, whatever, dribble, right? And go out on the field and spend some time with yourself or with someone that can take you there so you can get the touches on and work and work and work and work.
I think an even better addition to the homework is to just go out there, look at the goal, and look and be creative. Because I didn't have YouTube until I was born in 2000. So it wasn't like I had YouTube when I was 7, 8. But really what I did do, and a lot of the times up until I was, even after my ACL, I tore my ACL and I had to train on my own, I would go and I would just go to the field. I'm like, okay, this is what I would like to reenact from what I saw just watching a game. I want to be able to move this way in front of the goal and hit top bends. Okay, so I'll bring a hula hoop and I'll tape it to the top of the goal and I'm making my own skills net. I got in big trouble because I painted lines on the side of my house and I would go out there and just shoot the ball against the wall. Man, my mom was so mad. I'm pretty sure the paint is the paint is not coming off. The paint is still there, and people can drive by. You'll see the 2 lines of paint that I made. That's like a goal on the side of the house. But now you're trying to hit like small bricks, or you're trying to play tennis with the wall, and it's just you and the wall. Of course, you lose the game every single time, but the goal is to beat the wall. You'll never beat the wall, but that's how you become better, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's fun.
That's so cool. Let's a quick pause here. Let's make sure for all of you watching, there's a QR code in the screen here. Make sure that you scan that QR code. It's going to take you to the website where you can donate one of the foundation balls that will be going to an academy in Africa. Dave is showing the ball right here. So if you're watching, please scan that QR code and make a massive difference by donating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls. It doesn't matter. One ball will already make a huge difference. For those of you listening, we have the link down below. Click that link. It's going to take you to the website. So please go ahead and donate at least one ball. You're making a huge, huge difference.
And you can go on the app too and see the kids with the balls. It's amazing to see these kids like when they get them, and even on our social media, we'll share the impact. It's really fun to see. So
yeah, Cam, you touched on getting injured, your ACL. When did that happen? What happened there?
This happened my last season of college, and so this happened in 2022.
Okay.
So not recent, but fairly recent. And well, I was playing in a game. So, okay. Also, I had a COVID year for college. So I played in college for 5 years because of COVID. So I decided to take my 5th year because I was like, okay, well, I guess I do want to go pro. So this is what I thought I wanted. Actually, it still wasn't in my mind. I don't know how to explain this feeling. Like, I was like, well, I'm going and I'm playing soccer. So I want to be as good as I can. And I didn't think that I got the best out of myself my 4th year. And of course I had a 5th year. So I was like, might as well just stay. I didn't even think about staying to get a degree. That wasn't again, this is my thought process, not somebody else. But like, I was like, okay, stay and play the next half of college because collegiate soccer is from August to December. So hypothetically, I was like, okay, well, I'll just try my hand at the NWSL draft after this last 5th year, after this 5th season. And at this point in time, I finally was able to be a consistent starter at left back because I also had to move around. I was playing left wing, forward in college and left back. And it not all was because, but when I came in, there were seniors at center back and outside back. And that kind of took 2 years. Obviously, you're not going to be playing over a senior and a junior immediately. And respectfully so, these girls were really good at the time. And again, I guess that's just the ambition in me. Like, I wasn't going to want to sit on the bench or do anything. So I just brought it every day of practice. And my coach gave me the start at left wing. I was like, oh, that's so nice of you.
Yeah.
So then
Wow.
I did that. And then so now it was kind of solidified that I was more of a forward or left wing. So going into COVID year, I had to play striker. And again, that's not my main position. So I wasn't doing the best. I wasn't getting the most out of it. I was on the bench a lot of the time. And then for my 4th year, my coach started me at left back and I kind of got into a rhythm. It's still like not getting a lot of play, like, hit or miss on playing time. And then for my 5th year, it was a solidified start and I was doing pretty well, but there was 3 games left in the regular season leading up to our playoffs and I tore my ACL. Funny enough, like this whole time I was wanting a Big 12 recognition and I finally got it. The weekend I tore my ACL, I got Defensive Player of the Week and I was like, I only got one, but we got it.
Yeah.
And so I had torn my ACL. And then after that, I thought I was going to just go to the draft. My name was my name was doing pretty good on the draft board when it came to draft stocks or what the draft table would look like leading up to the draft night. But again, I couldn't participate or no team was going to pick me up because I had just torn my ACL 3 months after that. And all that being said, I already told you guys I was only going to stay in college for that half of the year. So by the time January rolled around, I didn't have any more scholarship. I didn't have any eligibility. I literally did not have anything. So I had to work, and I picked up like a lot of jobs, maybe 5 jobs, so I can keep my apartment in Austin and I can still go to rehab at the university, and do everything. So I worked at Walmart as a pharmacy technician in training. I didn't get the full thing, but I did work at Walmart, and I had to referee sand volleyball games, waitress, door dashing, of course, whenever I could, if I needed the extra money for the apartment or like food or something. And then I was taking care of my friends' dogs as well. So like dog walking and all of these things. And so that lasted up until June, July, when my apartment lease was up. But by then I was really thankful I was able to get through my whole recovery, and I was cleared by August. And then after that, I rarely ever mention this, but I did fly out. I think it was like Wyoming or Wisconsin. It was Wisconsin. I flew out to Wisconsin to a D2 school because one of the coaches that I was connected with at Texas over summer, I would volunteer to do summer camps for Texas soccer. And one of the other coaches was like, hey, you know, we were close at the soccer camps. And he was like, I heard about all these things. There's an opportunity that this Manchester United development coach was coming. So basically the coach worked with the the youth teams for Manchester United, their academy. So he was going to come look at the D2 school. I think it might've just been a favor on the back end. He must've known someone at this D2 school, but I spent my money and I flew up there and I stayed with this random family for a week. They were so nice, and I totally forget their name, but they were so amazing. And I was just playing with my ACL brace. Like, this is my first time back on the field, and I just went out there and I tried to play with the boys again. And I wasn't the best, but I was able to get out there. So I was also training with the D2 women's soccer team there as well. So I did that, and then I finally came back, and then this is where I had to train all by myself again. So from August to October, I was training for 3 months. Again, I was going back to the grassroots trainer that we had in Austin. His name is David Den. I would go and train with them because he still had professionals coming and training at 6 a.m. There was a professional session before they went back overseas to start their season at the end of August. So I was training with them. And when that was over, there was 2 guys that were they were 19. So they were still youth in a sense, and they're still looking to go pro, or they're playing semi-pro in Austin. So these 2 boys, they were really good. They're 19 years old. So they're really good. They're obviously better than anything that I would actually play against, even if I was playing professional soccer.
Yeah.
So I made them come out to that field with me at 6 a.m. We kept the schedule, and we were at the field, a free field, from 6 to 8 a.m. every morning. We were doing weights, doing all these things. And that lasted up until I finally was able to get in contact with an agent, or I went through a consultancy. Mark Carr, actually, he has his own consultancy agency, and Mark Carr was able to get me into an academy in Malaga. And I did this because I was like, oh my gosh, he just started this consultancy. He followed my dad and he was tweeting about it, and it was like 0 followers, 0 anything. I just knew Mark Carr because Mark Carr had trained, or he was my club coach when I was really young. So I was like, can you please help me? And he helped me for free because I was probably the first person to reach out and ask for help. And I was like, please. So he was like, there's this academy in Malaga, you got to go, but it's like some money. You have to pay for your own flight and you have to pay for your own food, but we can get you on a scholarship to go take a Spanish class. So I went to Malaga in October of 2024 at this point. October 2023. I go to Malaga and I fly there. I was supposed to be there for 6 months, and Malaga's in Spain. And I went there, and it was rough because there was no trainer. This wasn't like I was playing against professional athletes or anything like this. And it was so hard. And especially the turf over there for lower levels. Again, we were tier 7, tier 4. Like, we were at the lowest level for girls because it was just an academy for girls to spend their money. Like, their parents will ship them there and give them the overseas experience. That was what it really was there for. But I went, no trainer, no anything. My knee was hurting the whole time. Like, not the whole time, but again, it was nice because I was in Spain and it was a good experience, but it was still so hard. So then eventually Mark Carr got a job with San Diego Wave, and he was like, San Diego Wave is going to have an ID camp before this 2024 draft. So you should probably come back to America. And I was like, okay. I had to stay in Spain over Christmas because I didn't have enough money. I put all this on my credit card. I was like, F it, I'm going to do it. And the whole reason why I had gotten jobs was because I didn't want to move home. Obviously, tearing your ACL your 5th year of college, no girl does that. No girl does that and then tries to go pro because it's just not worth it. There's not a lot of money in the game. And again, I don't know why. I do know why. My mom was like, you need to go to law school. And I'm like, I took my LSAT to go to law school. I got the political communications degree. I also took the LSAT so I can just send myself off to law school. And I'm like, I'm not doing that because law school is always going to be there. Like, I'm going to try to go pro. I only have an opportunity to do this now, and my dad was so supportive, but I didn't want to go home and have the fact that like my parents were still paying for me after I should be going to law school and all these things. So that's why I made sure that if I was going to fail trying to go pro, I was going to fail on my own with my own credit card debt, with my own anything. That if I was going to fail, I'm failing by myself, so nobody else can hold this over my head, because I did not want that at all. Anyways, sorry, I'm kind of running long, but all this to say, I came back.
It's a good story.
Thank you. I came back January 2024 to go to the San Diego Wave IDP. There was no professional girls at that camp, but I was able to go and see, and they just wanted to San Diego Wave just wanted to show us what it was going to be like once we went to pro, which was so amazing that they put that on. Again, we had to pay for that out of your own pocket. And then draft night of 2024, I actually did get my rights picked up by Portland Thorns. So I was able to go in there and train with them. And I trained with them for 2 weeks. I got released. But again, I found myself in rooms. So I was playing with Becky Sauerbrunn, Megan Klingenberg, Janine, Becky. Like, I was just playing with Sophia Smith was still playing before she got pregnant. Like, I was playing with the best of the best again. And I was like, wow. Like, I know I'm supposed to be here.
My question is, because you went to Texas, I mean, that's a really high level school, for soccer. Like, at what point did you decide that you might want to go pro? Like,
well, I was playing with Julia Grosso and Emma Regan, which are two they are names in the Canadian women's national team,
right.
And Holly Ward also came. And then Trinity Byers, who is a big youth national team player. She plays for San Diego Wave. And I just saw all this talent around me. And I'm like, if it's them, why can't it be me? I'm on the same team as them. Like, I'm playing with you guys. And it goes so much further than just those 3 girls that were around me. I have been around every other team wins like the national championship at Texas. Like, soccer didn't win anything, but go to track, you can go to swimming, you can go to the football team, you can go to the basketball team, and everybody is doing something amazing. So it went so much further than the girls that I was playing with. It was the community that I was in. I've seen so many people go to the Olympics, win medals, and do some crazy stuff. Like Tara Davis, there was this guy on the track team named Leo. Like, I had so many people around me that go and play for their countries and do so much amazing things. And again, I had the ambition already just to get to college, but I'm so glad that I was exposed to what it really means to be a top tier athlete. And again, everybody in my class as an athlete at Texas, a lot of them went to the NFL. Some of them went to the NBA. Like, a lot of NFL players are now in the NFL in my class. And there are so many successful people going to the Olympics, getting gold medals, doing amazing things around the world as athletes. And I was like, if I'm able to be in the same room as them, like, why cannot not be me as well?
Yeah.
So that's what had to happen, really.
It's a amazing story. Amazing story. There's so many lessons there too, like keeping good relationships, with the people along the way, right? Because if you didn't keep a good relationship with him, you would have asked for the help. You would have said, no, not you. Yeah. Right? There's that.
Yeah.
And then there's also again, this thing of you just, I will get there no matter.
The independent streak about not wanting to go home and not fall back on your parents. I mean, that's amazing.
That's amazing. And look how many jobs you got, so you could basically help yourself navigate all of this, with an ACL injury, right? It's a not just physical, but it's a mental battle as well. But with you, it doesn't seem like your mental got affected at all. You're just like, okay, it's just an injury. I'm going to get back, and that's it. I'm going to get back. It doesn't matter what it takes.
Yeah. No,
What was your dad, Cameron, what was his first reaction when you tore your ACL? Like, what did he say to you?
Well, my dad didn't shed a tear. I don't think I think he needed to be strong for me. I don't know but I'm pretty sure both of my parents, my mom, I think, was crying. And when they told my brother, I have two younger brothers. So the middle brother, they called him and he was away at college and even he started crying. So I was like, everybody kind of knew that I wanted to go play pro. And it's like, again, I know it's different now, but even still, because ACLs aren't career ending, but they very much are career changing. And it's like once you tear your ACL, you're probably not getting back to the level that you were from before. And it's the fact that like that was just the biggest reality for everybody. And everybody knew that I was banking so much on becoming a pro soccer player and all of these things. And it's like, this is it. Like everybody is like, okay, so what are you going to do now? And I was like, yeah, I'm still going to play. I'm like, oh, you want to know how many people were probably laughing behind my back when I said that?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I know, but it's this thing about you, you know, that it doesn't matter. You had the goal in your mind and you knew what to do. Even when you didn't know what to do, you always looked for the answers and you kept doing the things to get you there and you accomplished it. It's pretty crazy, you know, like I really
hope.
There's
a lot of lessons in this story so far.
I know.
For me.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
you're
really
gonna get hired by somebody watching this video. They're going to be
I
like,
hope so.
That. You know,
that's what we're doing this for. I think that after all of the things that I went through, and I think anybody listening to my story can question, where is this drive and this coming from? Like, where is the passion coming from? And I think that at the end of the day, it's divine purpose that I have for my life.
Yeah.
And with going through all of these things, first of all, I could not be where I am today. And I am so grateful. I just got back from Spain with North Carolina Courage. And again, crazy how it comes full circle. Like I started it in Spain and I was just back in Spain with the top, one of the, you know, best girls in the world. And it's like, thank you so much that I had went through what I went through, because first of all, if I was given what I wanted when I wanted it, I would not have been prepared. I mentally would have been not a great person. I don't think I would be a good teammate. I don't think that I would handle adversity very well. So the fact that I went through that whole situation was I needed it. Truly, I needed it. And I also know that it was something that was given to me that I knew that I could handle. It was something that I could handle. And with it, I'm able to come and share my story and reach out to as much people as I can, touch as much people as I can with the story that I have, and just give back to those who want to follow in my footsteps. And if it's not a soccer player, like it's a parent. If it's not a parent, then it's literally someone just in passing hearing the story. I think that there's so much that I can do with just one word of encouragement or my story that, again, is just divine purpose on my own life. And I'm so grateful for everything from the tear, for like everything that was given to me, everything that was taken away, and all that is to come because of it. So
So Armando, I think we need to do a second phase of this interview and this podcast in a few months, and we bring her dad on too. It would be a great episode, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I need to be there. You guys should do it, like talk to my dad by himself. I think you guys would have the best time.
His perspective would be really valuable for parents, I think.
It is. I think he would do such a great job, and I think that.
So you ask him if he'll come on, and we'll do a perspective from a parent. That'll be really.
I will. I think he would actually want to share.
That's funny. So that's your homework. You talk to your dad and convince him to come on the show, and we'll do a classroom session around parents.
Okay. I think it would be so helpful.
Don't you think, Armando? That'd be
100%, because it's a different point of view as well. It's more targeted towards the parents and even, you know, maybe coaches too, right? An older audience. And oh my God, I'm just, you know, I'm going to be thinking about this conversation for a long time, because, you know, we just had a kid. His name is Luca. He's about to be 2 years old. And you know, it's not that I'm forcing him to play the game, but, you know, everywhere he goes, everywhere he goes, there's a soccer ball, you know, but I'm not like, you're going to play, right? And I mean, to be fair, from as you're telling me here, we've tested, right? We put, you know, tons of toys in front of him. He goes around all of them and he goes towards the ball and he wants to kick it. He loves, you know, going out on the field, but like, he has, and I'm going to say it again, he has myself to look, you know, a role model, right? Because I've played, and I still go to the field. I create content. He's always seeing me, you know, playing around with the ball, I'm constantly watching the game as well, right? I watch all the leagues with Champions League now, the World Cup coming up. With you, that was not the case. That was not the case.
It's very true, but from what you're explaining, I think that you won't really have much to worry about. Hopefully you'd be a great parent to, be hands off if he ever tells you that he does not want to play or he doesn't want to go to practice, which I think you would be. But at the same time, the way that you're describing your love for the game and how you're exposing your child to it is not the same exposure that I've seen when parents are forcing their kids to do something and then they're falling out of love with the game and it's too much. Like, there is a money grab when it comes to this. Like, I know back then it wasn't that serious, but every day I wake up and go train and I'm like, there's $1 million on the line. These girls are getting, some of these women are getting paid 1.5 million. You think that I wouldn't? Again, here we are again. You don't think that I want a little bit of that? I don't care how hard I have to play. I don't care what I have to do to get the, I mean, I do care, but like, I'm sorry, but there is $1 million on the line for myself every single day. So why would I not wake up and go do this? But to say all of that, like, some of these girls, parents would think this, and they're like, okay, well, if you want to be good, you need to do this. They'll put holding cookies over their head to go and do these things. But these parents just see the game on the TV. They're not really invested in it, and you are actually invested in it. Your kid is going to see the way that you love this game, and he's going to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and he's going to see the passion. I don't think that. And that's how you can say, like, LeBron James is Bronny. Like, he had an example of someone who was passionate about the game. So Bronny went and he's going to go do what he needs to do because he's seen someone set such a good example and show all the pathways that the sport opens up. And you can say that for any successful athlete that has had a parent that was in the Olympics running track or playing sports. It was because they had a passionate parent in front of them, which a lot of kids don't. They just have a parent that's pushing them to do something because they see the opportunity. But the parent themselves weren't able to handle the opportunity, which in turn makes it not fun for the kid. And they don't even let the kid have the opportunity in general because they squashed it for them.
Yeah.
So,
No, this is so true.
I think
it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Oh, so look, when did Napoli happen, and what was that transition, right, from Napoli to now in the NWSL playing with Courage?
I'm excited to hear about Napoli. This is like been waiting for it the whole time.
We still had a team. So we still had, guys, this is like a lot of stories to tell. There's still a big chunk of time before I actually went to Italy. So at this point, we're in 2024 now. So after I got dropped from Portland, it was February and I did not have a car because the car had to go when I went to Spain. And again, February was a downtime. The trainers that would go train, first of all, I didn't have money and I didn't have a car to get to the trainings. So I was like, I need to figure something out, but also I'm emotionally spent. I need a break. And so I flew out to the family that introduced me to the game itself. I was like, let me go. I went to New York. I just like, I'm done. This was March 1st. I flew to New York. And I stayed with my family for 1 week, and I have 2 aunts up there. So I stayed with my aunt whose husband introduced me to the game. I stayed with her for a week, and I was like, Dad, send me my practice clothes. I'm staying. So my dad overnights me practice clothes because in the week that I was there, I calculated a plan as to how I was going to get my stuff done. And what it was I went on Google with my little iPad that was from 2016. It was so old. It was literally this big. It was a big one. And I'm on the iPad. I'm like searching for jobs. I know how to work some jobs. Okay. I've had a lot in the past. So I know how to find them. I went and I got a job in Manhattan on 54th Street. Shout out to Trooper Fitness. They gave me a job and I was like, thank you. I got the job at a gym specifically so I can do my weights for free and I can run for free. I can do my conditioning.
Strategy.
So,
now we have strategy.
Now we have strategy.
Smart.
And my uncle that introduced me to the game, he had connections around. So he was just like, oh, this team, they're your age, around your age, like 20s, whatever. So go just train with them. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like now I have a place to train. And obviously I don't need a car because I can take the train. So my uncle lives, the one that introduced me to the game, he lives in Long Island. And then I had another aunt that lived in Astoria. Astoria is right outside of Manhattan. So from like Monday to Thursday, we'll say Monday morning, I would wake up at 3:15 because the first session at the gym started at 6. So I had to wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast, train into the city and be there by like 5 so I can open the gym and do everything that I needed to do. I would be there from 5 to 12. I would do my running, my conditioning. I would go back to Astoria, sleep, and then I would wake up and go train with this team that I was able to go train with through the connections that I had up there, called Brooklyn FC Two Bridges. And I think they might be an MLS Next team or something of like high prestige for the academy teams. I don't really know. But I was just going out there and I was training with the boys again. This all comes back to training with boys. Like, I also even did this in high school because I did graduate high school early to go to Texas early. So I went a semester early, but I couldn't play high school soccer. So I just went to go to the trainings with the guys.
Good.
Like I had a class period off. So I would just go train with the boys before I had to leave. But all that to say, I went to go train in there from Monday to Thursday. And then after that training, either my aunt would drive me back to Long Island, which is actually very, really far, or I would get onto the train that goes out there, and that's like $20 each way every time. It's so expensive, but I would go out there Thursday night, and then I would stay with my other aunt. And at that point, in the night times, I would go train with a Sunday league, but it was in Jamaica, Queens. And what happens in Jamaica, guys have seasons like the Jamaican league, they have seasons there, their season there. And then during the winter, they all come to New York to live and work, because you can work for 3 months on a visa, like that your visa allows.
Right.
Yeah.
So they'll come and work like off jobs that don't really need paperwork or anything like this. And then they would make their money, do what they need to do, and then go back for a season. So at this point in time, I was training with the guys who were trying to make it in the Jamaican league, and that just happened to be in Jamaican Queens. So all of that was going on, and then I was finally able to get in with Brooklyn FC, which is the new ULS team. The new ULS in America just kind of got together this year, and I was also very unaware, but my agent was able to put me in there, like, okay, sign with Brooklyn FC. And I was honestly probably one of the first players that signed, but because they didn't have their paperwork together, my agent was like, we're going to pull you from this club because I don't think they're going to have their things together. I don't want to put you in a bad situation. And I ended up being able to sign with Fort Lauderdale United, and I went there in July 2024, and that was my first professional contract. Man, I cried when that happened, because I didn't know that I was going to be able to get there or start playing pro, but that's what happened. So I played one full season there, and then after that, the coach from Napoli was doing the recruiting, and they're like, we need you as a center back and we want you to come and play. And I was like, well, I don't know what Napoli is. I don't know where it is, but I'm coming. Like I was like, aren't they in Serie B? Like, how is this going to help me? I think I should stay at Fort Lauderdale. Thank goodness I didn't. But I'm really glad I made the jump to go play overseas. I'm so happy. But that is how me going to Napoli happened.
I see.
So what was the difference when you went there? Like, right off the bat, like, what did you feel? We love Italy. We like to go to Italy. We were just in Parma and Como and
nice.
Milan, like for games, like, last winter, we went to some games. So we love Italy, but like, what was, in terms of soccer and football, like what was the difference that you noticed immediately when you got?
Well, again, that's so funny because there isn't really much of a difference that I could notice because I've only had one experience playing pro, which is another thing. It's like all throughout my life, I had been, in some sense, like I had to start at the very, very bottom, even when it came all the way going back to Spain. Like, I don't know what to expect. So for some girls, especially at Fort Lauderdale, the experience was so bad because they've been in more professional environments. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know I'm a professional soccer player. So I don't really care about what's going on in the front office, what things I do or do not have. All I know is I need to go out onto that field and perform.
Deliver.
Like, and that's all I cared about. So like, that was all I didn't have any other experiences. All I was like, oh, this is nice. I get my own apartment. I have to share whatever. Like, I don't care. I just wanted to be here, So then when I get to Italy, it's like, again, I don't have any other higher standards. I don't know what to expect. So I don't want to give off what other people who had played in more professional settings had to say about Napoli. But for what I experienced, again, going to Napoli is not something that every person can do. Like, we didn't have the best facilities. The turf was really, really tough, but hey, I played on worse worst turf in Spain. So like I knew how to handle that. Some of these girls were like, I can't do this. This is hurting. This is so bad. I've never played on a field so bad. And I was like, I've been on worse. So this doesn't impact, like this literally doesn't impact me. Like my apartment sucks. Like some girls, my apartment sucks. We're not getting fed. I've been through worse. I literally had to work at Walmart, no food in my apartment while I was going through rehab and doing all these things. Like I've been through worse. So whatever I'm going to face here isn't even that bad. And then on top of that, my coach, he came from the Serie B men's. So he did, like, this was a higher level of like, all he knows is how to yell at men. All he knows is how to train men. What am I to know? I grew up, my dad screaming and down my neck the whole day. Like, this is normal to me. So like, I've already experienced the worst. Like, this can't get any worse. I'm just here to play. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to be here for 2 years. Little didn't I know, like, I kind of got popular because I started all the games. I was doing really well. And I was like, oh, my agent's like, do you want to go to North Carolina? I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, oh, well, this is how it really happened. He had called me after the first, well, sorry, let me finish. Napoli was amazing because the experience that I got to have just being in overseas and playing pro was
beautiful, right? I haven't been there, but
it was
awesome there.
It is so beautiful. I think it has the best food in Italy, not because of anything. I think it's more just the culture, and they're more about their food in Napoli and in the south of Italy, in southern Italy, and everything else is kind of just like, you know, posh and uppity and everywhere else. I've been to Milan, Como, Venice. I've seen all of what Italy has to offer, and I wouldn't care to go see anything else.
So with Napoli, were the women's team, were they connected to the men's team, the same ownership, or something different?
No, they were not. By the time I got there, they were not connected to the men's team. So all the money that we were pulling was on our own, which obviously is so hard, especially overseas. I think they were connected to the men's side a couple of years ago, but during that time, the ownerships of both had a disagreement.
Yeah, so some are connected and some are not. I've seen like in Europe.
Yes, it's only us and Como and maybe one other team. I think it is only us and Como that's not connected to a men's team. Okay. But I think that connection was dissolved like maybe like less than 5 years ago. So that just wasn't a thing anymore. And it was so hard because we didn't have money. But I mean, I don't really know what more we could have. Obviously, there are like little things. And now being in the NWSL, I see how well these girls are treated. And I don't even want to talk down on Italy because that's just how it is. It's the culture. It's the environment. It is what it is. You can't, like,
they don't have really the same financial structure as the U.S. has. My one question as a Man City fan, did you ever bump into KDB or no?
No, I didn't. And I wish we were able to get to the games. We literally had no time to go to the games at all either. So it was so bad. My wife
would want me to ask that question. I'm sure your dad was probably like, hey, have you seen KDB walking around?
Yeah. No, we didn't get to, but man.
That's funny. Well, that's great.
That's a great experience.
So then you go to North Carolina, right? Which is
okay. So basically, in my contract, my agent was like, he wrote it, I guess, at very fine print. And Italians, in my opinion, don't really like to work, or you know, if they're gonna have a holiday, they're gonna have a holiday. There's no work being done. And my agent said that in this contract, if you do not rewrite a new contract claiming my rights for my 1 year by December 31st, then I'm free to be able to get bought out or find a trade or something like this. So my agent calls me on Christmas Day and he texts me, he's like, NWSL teams are looking at you. And I'm like, all right, cool, buddy. Like, please stop stressing me out right now. Like, I have to go play Milan. Like, I have to do these hard things.
I have more important things to do.
Right. And you're just like, oh, NWSL. I'm like, I can't. What do you want me to do with this information? Like, I have to be here for the next 2 years. I don't know what to say. And so then he calls me literally December 31st on the call. Like, he was working this whole time for me, and I'm so thankful for him. And he's like, North Carolina is interested in you. Do you want to go? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, I didn't know that this was going to be a thing. I'm like wholeheartedly bought in for this team for the next 2 years. Like, I thought, I don't know what I thought. I didn't think that this was a possibility. So it's like, yeah, like, let's go. And it took a really long time for my team to agree to release me. I thought that the deal was about to fall through, but they kind of had to do it because North Carolina paid a good amount for me, and then the team obviously needed the money, and just how the sports goes, like for me to leave that club is so good for them. And of course I'll do anything to help this club because they're trying to actually build their own program called Football Lab, I'm pretty sure. And they're trying to be able to get girls to come overseas and have the Italian experience and play at Napoli and do all these things. The same way that I went to Spain, they're trying to do it. And I think that's such an amazing thing because, again, I could not be here if I did not have that opportunity. And I think that it's amazing. And
it was good business for Napoli, which is good for that club. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So that's
So
good. That's
that-
awesome. Like, and so now you're in North Carolina. Like, I did a little research on you before this, and it's funny because people say that you're good in the air, but you're also good with your feet. And we were going all the way back to like the the stories of like saying, hey, you didn't make the national team because of these different level things. It sounds like you've kind of, now you're in the NWSL, and they say that you actually are good on the ball and in the air, which is, I think, is pretty cool. I mean, that's a rare thing, right? Armando is having that trait. Together.
Yeah, totally. And are you a lefty too? Correct.
I am left-footed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, another thing too.
So,
That is, yeah, it was really hard for me to develop anything like while I was growing up. And I wanted to cater to my left foot so much. It's the same for people that want to cater to their right foot. But again, going back to my best friend's dad, he would say, if you're going to do drills by yourself, this was one of the informations. If you're going to go out there to the field and do drills, train like a midfielder. Don't train like you're a center back. Like, don't only do center back drills. Don't only do forward drills. Train like you're going to be literally in 3 inches of space and do those drills that the midfielders do. So like I said, when you go on YouTube, you don't really need to go and honestly, don't do anything that has to do with your position. Look up the drills that a midfielder would do.
homework number 2.
Specifically. Yeah.
Cam,
Yes.
tell us
So
homework number 2. Tell us
because yes, anything else that you do is going to be tactical, and you're just going to pick it up the more that you play the game. So the one thing you can't pick up if you play the game for 1,000 years is your technical ability. So if you're going to go out and train, you don't need to be like, oh, well, what does the left winger need to do? No, just let that happen and let your coach you in the way that they need to coach. But when you go out to train, just find a way to be technically proficient, and you can literally master all of your skills by doing this by yourself. I think that's another thing, is like people don't want to go out by themselves, and they need a friend. Like, first of all, you need to understand that your friend isn't going where you're trying to go. So you can't bring people around with you when you're trying to do things that are trying to take you to the next level. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I've learned. It's like, I would be going to extra sessions in college and I would get laughed at because I went to the racquetball courts to go play play tennis with the wall and just try to get my touches up. Like little things like this, but like those girls, and I'm so glad, but those girls were really good at the time, but they're either playing in the USL still or not playing at all. And it's like, you can say all those things, but at the end of the day, you are not going where I am right now. Like, you aren't with me. You are where you're at, and I'm where I'm at.
Yeah.
ACL and all, which is so crazy. So that's what I had to say about that one. Yeah.
Okay, so you had that goal, like unstoppable, trying to reach that goal, doing everything you could do day to day to achieve the professional level. You arrived, right?
I hate when people say like,
wait. No, so what's next for you? What is? Yeah, you're a professional.
What's the next ambition, right? Like,
Exactly.
What's the next ambition? Right?
Exactly.
There's always something.
There's always something. I don't think I've arrived. I don't think I will ever arrive, because I'm playing against myself. I'm not playing against somebody else.
That's
Like, this
it.
is me and me. This is me versus me. And I don't think I'll ever beat myself, whether that's mentally, whether that's technically, whatever I can do. I'm always going to have a fault, and there's always going to be something to find within myself to get better on. I'm not going to be crazy. I think when I'm done playing the game, I'm done playing the game. Fingers crossed that I'm not like, generally I think that, but like, when people say something in 5 years down the road, they're like entangled with it. I don't want to. I want to give everything that I can to this game today, because I've already experienced the game being taken away from me. I already know who I am when I don't have the ball at my feet. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of players never had the experience that I've had. Like, I was grown and I've had this ball taken away from me. So now I really know how to do the ins and outs of what it is to be a player or a person without the game. Like, and I'm not scared to step into the next chapter. I just hope that I can prolong my career and have a long career so I can make the impact that I think I'm going to be making throughout the next 10 years. But it's like, it is what it is. So really the next thing is to play with the best in the world. Am I playing with the best in the world yet? Who knows? Will I get there? Who knows? But I think that there's so many other levels to reach, and there's other girls to play against, to play with, other leagues. I think the WSL would be something amazing. That's an amazing feat in and of itself. And I mean, that was the whole goal when I went to Italy. Like, I was like, the only person I'm waiting to call, like the only person that I'm waiting to hear from is Emma Hayes. Like, that's the only person I'm gonna like wait by the phone for. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like, can I be the first girl to get to the WSL without having a national team camp or national team cap, which is how these girls are going to the WSL. A lot of people don't know that you need 24, like it's a point system to get to the WSL. You need 24 points. The max that you can get a season is 12 points, and you have to play 90% of the games, which means you cannot miss one game, and you cannot be like, you can't get injured within the game. So it's like, when you start to understand how hard it is to get to that level, especially with that, and obviously once you get a national team cap, that's automatically you can go and play in the WSL. It doesn't matter. But I think even that challenge was what really pushed me to perform every single day. And when I was in Italy, regardless of what I was going through or what the team was going through, I didn't really care, because I was chasing like the long game. I was chasing something that was so much bigger than where I was. And I think that's still what it is now.
Yeah, I think it's a good time for us to go towards the Q&A of the episode, where we open floor for players, coaches, and parents. But we have questions from players here for you to answer. Okay, we have a set of questions here. Before we get into that, though, there's a QR code in the screen. Make sure that you scan that QR code. It's going to take you to a link to the footballerlife.com website, and that's where you're going to donate a ball or many balls to help academies in Africa. Dave is showing you the ball right there, and you're making a huge difference in the children's lives. And it's like 60 to 120 kids, and they only have one or maybe two balls for them to train with, just like Dave explained right in the beginning of the episode. So please go ahead, scan the QR code, and make a donation. One ball, you're already making a huge difference. For you listening to the episode, make sure that you click the link below. It's going to take you to the website, and there you're going to be able to donate a ball to a random academy in Africa. So please go ahead and do that. Now let's get into we have several questions from players here to you, Kim, and let's see what we have here. Question number 1: what should I focus on between ages 14-18 if I want to go pro?
From 14 to 18, I think that's a critical time. So I'm not saying you need to be technically proficient. You need to have everything together and under wraps, because again, I didn't even learn how to kick a long ball with my right foot until I got to college. Like, I'm telling you, it is okay to be lacking. But what I think the most important thing to be focused on is to strengthen your strengths, and as well as putting yourself out to where you need to be and putting yourself in the right environment that can get you seen by coaches that you want to be seen by. Again, I was so blessed to be able to have a parent to take me to everything that I wanted to go to. He would spend money on every single opportunity that I needed, no questions asked. So I know that that's not a reality for a lot of people, and that's not realistic, especially with how expensive the sport has gotten. But if there is one thing that you can do, or if there's one thing that you can look forward to, and if you know you want to go play college, and I think that if playing soccer, and nobody should ever pass up the opportunity to play college athletics. This goes for any sport in general. Do not pass that opportunity, whether that's D3, JUCO, D2, D1. I don't care at what level you need to go. So with that being said, put yourself in areas where you can go to those camps and be seen. Like, it could be literally a JUCO, or like not a great school. Who cares? At least you got to go and experience it. And I think that if you're going to pay for college, then you might as well get an experience out of it that will change you for the better for the rest of your life. Because I think people start to learn, like you learn so much more when you're a collegiate athlete than when you're just a normal athlete who goes to a very expensive school to get a degree just because the degree carries weight with the college. I mean, and again, it just depends on what everybody wants, what you want out of your own life. But that's my opinion on collegiate sports.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you basically answered the second question already, because the second question is playing in college necessary to reach the NWSL?
I think if you're coming from the American system, yes, because that's just how it is in America. I think if you are to play pro outside of America, these girls start playing pro when they're 16. So another girl named Evelyn EJ, who is actually just coming from Milan with me from our season, she started playing pro when she was 16 and 17 in Sweden. So she's 24 now, a year younger than me, but this is my second year. No, this is year 1.5 for me playing pro. And if you do the math, this is year 5 of her playing pro. Yeah. So, you know, it's like she's had gotten all these different experiences, and that's because she had played overseas and went overseas. And I know that's a very big jump to send your child overseas to go play. But I mean, shoot, if you know that that's what you want to do from a young age, go do it. If you get the opportunity, go do it. That's what I have to say on that one. But I think especially if you're an American and you're coming and you want to play in the NWSL, definitely go to play college. But again, the NWSL isn't end all be all. It should never be the end all be all. Again, I still went to Napoli. I still had other experiences in the USL, and I had an experience overseas. And so do whatever is in your path for your life. And again, the NWSL is, there's so much, the world has so much more to offer than just the NWSL, for sure. Right.
Next one here is, how do I stand out at ID camps or showcases?
Let me tell you again, I was getting kicked out of the national team camps at ID camps. So like, I don't think there's any, the focus should never be, how do I stand out? The focus is, how am I going to get better today? Because a lot of the times there's a lot of politics that go on in the American system, especially for soccer. So some of these girls get invited because their dad knows someone, and they're getting, I've seen this time and time again, all the way up until college. Literally at Fort Lauderdale, there was still so much politics going into who was starting these games. So I think right off the bat, never think about how can I stand out. You stand out by strengthening your strengths and being a player who's adaptable, being a player that listens and can do what the coach is asking you to do without pushback or thinking that you know more than the coach by not trying to implement whatever they're trying to teach you. So I think that it's going in there and honestly acting like you're stupid and you need the most help in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I think that people really respect you when you can go out and ask questions and think about learning from a new perspective of a person trying to teach you the game from their eyes. They've seen the world. They've seen different soccer games than you've had. Now, when you think about it like that, it's like, this is somebody that has seen and studied a game that I've never seen before. So let me go in there and sit and have a student posture with whoever is in front of me and teaching me. And I think I did not do good when I was a youth doing these things. And I think that is what could have separated me. If we're going to talk about wanting to be separated, then that's what it is. It's just focusing on what you can do better and having a student posture when you're meeting new coaches and when you're going to these IDP camps.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with all of that. How do you recover mentally after a poor performance?
Yeah, that's really hard. I think I struggled with that in college so much. It was a lot of the times when I wasn't getting the start or I was in and out of the starting lineup, it was because I was letting issues that I was letting mistakes snowball in my head. And again, it's easier said than done, but you really have to have a goldfish mindset, because the only person that's judging you for every single thing that you're doing is yourself. Like, that is literally only what's in your head. And you can come out one day and have such a bad day, but think about it in this way. If you come out the next day and you have an amazing day, then your coach is like, oh, they did good today. They're not going to be like, oh, she did bad today. They will start to say that if you do it 3 times in a row. And it's because you're just thinking about the mistakes that you made the day before. And more likely than not, you actually probably won't make the same mistake that you make the next day. You just make a new mistake and you fixate on the new mistake. And now you think that you're making like 2 mistakes when really you only just made 1 mistake each day. So it's just having, again, a student posture to the game and being patient with yourself. It's like learning to walk when you play soccer. You're not going to know how to do every single thing. So you need to understand that. You're not going to get everything right. Like, it is okay to make mistakes. I've seen LeBron miss threes. I've seen LeBron do a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
I don't know what to like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he's not. I've seen players, he gets dunked on too. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think the elite top players, that is what separates, them from the rest, right? It's the ability to make mistakes and completely forget about that and move on to the next. And because, yeah, you're totally right. I think if you keep focusing on the mistake that you just did, more mistakes will happen and it just snowballs and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. What daily routine helped you reach the professional level? You're probably
clearly I've had a pretty tough ride getting here, and it was to remember that my today is not my tomorrow, especially when I was going through my ACL. What I was going through that day, like for the first 6 weeks, I had to lay in bed for 8 hours every day while a machine pushed my leg up and down to get to 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And man, you think like my mental didn't get to me. Like, I just haven't shared with you the toughest days that I had to go through while I was going through that rehab or while I was going through Spain, but that was the day where it's like, this is more than I don't want to play soccer. This is like, I don't want to live this life like at all, and those are the thoughts. But it's like, always remembering that whatever you're seeing yourself go through today is not indicative of your tomorrow. It's clearly not indicative of a week from now, and it's definitely not indicative from 3 years from now, because again, I was in the bed for 8 hours a day 3 years ago, and today can say that I'm a professional soccer player in the NWSL. So if there's one thing, especially when anybody's having a bad day, it's to remember that your today is not your tomorrow.
Beautifully said. Definitely. Should young players specialize early or play multiple positions or sports?
Multiple positions and sports. And my dad would definitely come on this podcast and tell you exactly this. But I think another thing that parents don't do really well at is to let their child enjoy multiple sports. On top of that, scientifically, there is a study that if a kid only plays one sport, they're not going to get other techniques down that other sports can teach them. So if you're not going to let your kid run track, I don't know what your kid's going to do on that soccer field. They're not going to run right. They're not going to know how to condition their body. They're not going to know how to take off or how to hold, for 800 meters, like whatever the case may be. If you don't let your kid play basketball and play soccer, I mean, that's exactly where I learned. No, I didn't learn, but because my dad played basketball, it's like I could understand when he was telling me to get my butt down on defense. Like, I understood that. And then for like anything else, like if I'm just saying, like, just let them play the other sports, because being mentally taxing, it's like when put yourself in your shoes as a parent, like I'm pretty sure like you would not want someone doing this to you. And even as an adult, say your boss is telling you like, no, you can only do one thing at your computer. You can only write this one essay. Would you really enjoy your job? No, you wouldn't. So you have to think about it like that too.
It's also nice when I played soccer and basketball, and I always liked the transition between the two. Like when soccer was at the end, I couldn't wait till basketball practice started, right? And then at the end of basketball, I couldn't wait to get back on the soccer field. Like you just get so excited. It keeps the love, I think.
Yeah.
It's very interesting though, because I really appreciate the system here in the US, right? From middle school, kids are being exposed and they can play several sports. The country I come from, we didn't, right? It's soccer. You're born, dad, mom, they throw you a soccer ball and you're going to be the next soccer player, and that's all you do. You start playing futsal and then you go out, you go play field, and that's it in Brazil. That's the way you don't have the options that we have here. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it is a resource issue, right? Because here, I mean, around myself here, middle schools, they have facilities that in Brazil we're only gonna see at the professional level, and it's a middle school. And then you go to the D1 level here in the US, is basically better than professional teams in Brazil. And it's very interesting. I really appreciate the fact that here, kids have that option to do multiple sports, and it's at basically the highest level, even at such a young age.
And we can go back to the culture thing. It's that, again, there's so much passion. Like, I went to Italy and I saw Maradona was not from Italy. You know how much those people love
Napoli,
that man?
yeah.
Those people, there's a whole street, probably like 2 football fields long, of just Maradona. And I'm like, it's a culture. It's like, it's hard to not love the sport. It's the same thing in Brazil. There's so much passion and love that goes into it, instead of just like, do this because this is good for you or because I want you to as a parent. So it's different. Like, you guys y'all can go out in the street and you're playing. Like, that's how you guys
all
play
day
at
long.
night, or you're on the beach and you're playing. Like, this is fun settings to play the sport in. So why would I want to play any other sport? I totally agree. Like, I would not want to play any other sport anyways if I was exposed to it like this.
Okay, so 2 last questions here, and those are really good ones. What mistakes do younger players make when trying to get recruited?
Not setting their standards. Well, I mean, maybe setting their standards too high. I think that's a mistake, because and also just being too picky about the options that you have. Like, for instance, you could be a good player and you're going to say no to someone that is trying to buy into you as a person, that is wanting to have you as a player on their team, but because they're a D2 or because they're not a high enough D1, you're going to say no and turn down the opportunity. And then you're going to wait for an opportunity from, let's say, Alabama. You go to Alabama and you're at the end of the bench warmer, water girl, water boy. Why would you do that to yourself when there is someone that is willing to pour into you to see you succeed? And not only that, because you can go in and out of teams and into their portal, there's always stepping stones and building blocks that you can go to. I think that really what the issue is that you don't see the bigger picture, but you also don't appreciate anything. Like, you think that, or kids these days just want the best of the best. It depends on the privileges that they were grown up with, or the culture that they were involved in, or the community that they had in front of them. But I think high privilege does not equal high reward, especially when you get out into the real world. And I think that is something to remember. I think, again, any opportunity is a blessing. It does not have to be the best one, but any opportunity, it should not be looked over.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This last one here is I want to hear this one too. I really do. If you were starting over at 13, what would you prioritize differently?
I'd listen to my dad more, because I wasn't using my right foot.
We're gonna have to edit. We're gonna have to definitely clip that one out right there. Like that's gonna be a great answer. Your dad will love that one.
Yeah, I would listen to my dad more, guys. Your parents.
I think everyone can probably learn from that, right?
Yeah. No, I think that really is all I have to say, is I would listen. Because I wasn't. When you're 13, you think you know everything, and like, you know your own mind, you know your own body, and what you're good and what you're not good at. But my dad, it's not like he didn't tell me to go sit down and watch soccer. He told me to go try to get tactically better. He told me to use my right foot. I didn't do it. And now I was getting kicked out of national team camps, or I'm not getting invited to IDP camps, and I'm crying, and he's just sitting there saying, I told you so. And he had every right to do so. So I would just listen to my dad more.
Wow, that's a good one.
Well, that was the last question from player. Now is that time, Dave. It's the time to announce. So today's classroom session is brought to you by Footballer Life, who will be donating 5 balls to Dave. Go ahead and announce for all of us here the winner.
We chose Saints FC Starlets. That's Nairobi, Kenya. That's the girls' side of their program. We know them well, the Saints FC. It's a cute, amazing little grassroots program. in Kenya, and that's the girls' side. And so it's an amazing group, of kids, and we're excited for the girls to get those balls. It'll be a big, it's a big thing. People don't really realize what a big impact it is on these kids. Like, we just had a girls team, Cameron, that we donated balls to in a very rural area in Kenya. And so the coach sent me a picture. This was this week, of these girls, and they were juggling the ball in this little field. And he said that none of the girls knew how to juggle a ball because they didn't have enough.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. He said that they just didn't have enough balls to ever have that much time, so they didn't know how to juggle. So they were all out there in the field with the balls juggling so they could learn to juggle now. And these girls are like 14, 15 years old. So anyway, that's the impact that it has, these balls, and we're excited to give them to the Saints FC Starlets. That's the girls' side of this little club, grassroots club. So anyway, congratulations!
That's so good.
You guys will see some pictures of the girls with the balls when we release this. So
Definitely. And again, Football Life is donating 5 balls, but you can also make a difference as well. If you see a QR code on the screen here, make sure that you scan the QR code and make a donation. It's going to make a huge difference. For all of you listening to the episode, make sure that you click the link below so you can donate a ball as well and make a huge difference. Cam, thank you so much, for being part of this. This has been, I'm shocked with everything that you shared with us today. And this is going to be, I don't think I've ever said this to any of the guests or about any of the episodes that we've recorded, but this is going to be an episode that when my kid, he's only 2, he's going to be 2, but when he's a little bit more aware, he can actually watch, a podcast episode. This is going to be the first one he's going to watch, because I really want to have him exposed to such a mentality that you have, the ambition that you have, that it's inspiring. And I hope everyone watching and listening, if there's one thing for them to take away, it's just that, being as driven with that focus, that goal that you always had to do the things that you needed to do in order to accomplish the goal. And I really appreciate everything that you shared with us here today.
And listen to your dad more. That's why you wanted to see it early, right? So he knows early. He could learn right away from Cameron. Like, listen to your dad more. That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Tell us, where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram at _Cameron Renee, or my TikTok, which I will be posting every single day on, following my journey as a professional soccer player. Sorry, I just wanted to give a background. The reason why I do this is because I want to share. I don't think that a lot of girls in my position share the life that we live. I think it's an amazing one. And I think that when I share, so many other people get inspired, or so many other people get to see a side of life that nobody really gets to see. And it's coming with a lane of discipline and mindset, and just trying to better yourself every day. I think I want people to see me grow as a person, and I want to grow with you. I want to help you grow as well. So I think that if you see me go 1-0 every day, which is my saying, it's like, again, in a soccer game, 1-0 means you beat the other team. And if I go 1-0 every day, I've won the day. So if you see me do this every single day, I think that it would give you a better insight and hopefully inspire you to go 1-0 every single day. And my TikTok is at This Is Cam's Corner.
Awesome. We'll make sure that we will tag your Instagram and TikTok in the description below, but also it's going to be on the screen as well, so people can go and follow you and
we're following too.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll be trying to follow you during the season, and maybe we can get her on the Football Life platform too, so she can share some of these things with the kids there. But we'll be following for sure all the games.
I'll be there.
1000%. Dave, thank you as always, my co-host, my friend, and I really appreciate you as well. And everyone, thank you so much for watching, for listening, And for those of you who scanned the QR code and made a donation, thank you so much. For those of you listening and clicked that link and donated a ball, thank you so much. You're making a massive difference. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.